Good evening, one and all. Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2022-2023, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 75 years of independence. United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's sessions. Today is Alexander Graham Bell Day in Canada. As we all know, it was on this day that Bell was granted a patent for transmitting vocal or other sounds telegraphically on March 10. Bell made the now iconic statement, "Mr. Watson, come here, I want to see you," through a transmitter, and his assistant Thomas Watson, who was in the next room, received the call and heard the voice clearly. Thus, the first telephone call was made. In the honor of the day, he was granted the patent. People around the world celebrate March 7th as the Day of Innovation and Invention. This holiday is recognized by an official act of legislature in Nova Scotia, Canada. So Alexander Graham Bell was a scientist and inventor who is best known for inventing telephone. Bell was born on March 3rd, 1847, and all through his life, he was encouraged by partially deaf mother to pursue scientific study. Bell's father was an influential figure who taught deaf students and fostered communication with the deaf community, something which Bell himself was a great at from a very young age. Bell went on to work with the deaf community throughout his own life and eventually married a deaf woman, just like father had done. And his father, Eliza Grace Simons, and wife Mabel Gardiner Hubbard, Both lost their hearing due to childhood illness. It was Bell's determination to help the deaf people that inspired most of his inventions, including the telephone. He was working on making improvements to the telegraph system when he got the idea to try transmitting speech telegraphically, something that hadn't been done before. That was what led to the telephone. Telephones have become such an important part of our society, and many innovators in communication have made since then. In addition to the telephone, Bell is also credited with inventing the metal detector and developing the hydrodome, a watercraft that set a world marine speed record in 1999. He was the second elected president of the National Geographic Society. So we celebrate Bell and his many accomplishments on Alexander Graham Bell Day. Bell passes away at the age of 75 in 1922, and the Alexander Graham Bell Museum is built on the National Historic Site dedicated to him in Nova Scotia, Canada, and his daughters donate many artifacts to be put on the display in 1950. So Alexander Graham Bell was awarded the first successful patent, and so he is widely regarded as the inventor of the telephone. However, scientists such as Antonio Mucco, who invented or who received a CVET before Bell received his patent, and Elisha Gray also developed talking telegraph designs. Bell made notable developments in sonic technologies, including the photophone in 1880 and the graphophone in 1886. In an effort to save President James Garfield's life in 1881, Bell was so instrumental in developing a new medical technology to find a bullet in President Garfield's torso. This led to the invention of the metal detector. The number is now written as 1-212-736-5000. According to the hotel's website, Pennsylvania 65000 is the New York's oldest continually assigned telephone number, and possibly the oldest in the world, and maybe the first phone number ever. Every time you call a friend or text someone, send a silent thank to the bell. Without him, we may never have progressed this far in telecommunications in the West. It comes from the Greek word tele, which means far, and phone, which means voice. Thus, the word came from the Greek origin, telephone. In 1887, Thomas Edison suggested using the word hello to answer a telephone call instead. It was built in 1877 and stretched off for a mere 3 miles was a permanent telephone wire. It took Motorola about 10 years to develop world's first cell phone and the prototype for the handheld phone. The number is, many countries use 911 for emergencies. The number is used in Aruba, Belize, Guam, Honduras, Canada, Costa Rica, the Philippines, Saudi Arabia, Uruguay, and Peru, and among other countries. Alexander Graham Bell was a great man. Long after his death, he continues to inspire people with his life and work. It encourages scientific thinking and urges us to be innovative and rational in our everyday lives. We cannot imagine without the telephone. Alexander Graham Bell celebrates their invention that has changed the course of human history and how we communicate. Today is Holi in Guyana. Get swept away in the colors of Holi Guyana festival, which occurs during springtime in March. It is an Hindu festival brought to Guyana by Indian settlers in 19th century it was adopted into Guyana culture and is celebrated by all religions and people, with its date set following the Hindu calendar and customs. To most Guyanese people, Holi is synonymous with fun, includes partying and throwing colored water and powdered paint on each other. In Hinduism, Holi celebrates life, spring, and overcoming the odds. It has multiple origin stories, legends associated with agriculture, deeming it a non-religious springtime festival, honoring rebirth, fertility, and new life. The water thrown around symbolizes the fertile growth of crops, while the colored paint represents the grain tossed around in traditional festivals. So the more popular origin stems from a myth with multiple variations. One version features King Hiranyakashipu of Multan, who the gods made invincible, abusing his authority. He was convinced that he was a god and demanded his people worship in his name. However, his son, Prince Prahalada, opposed him, believing his father was merely a human being. Of course, such blatant disrespect could not go unpunished. The king devised a plan involving his sister, Holika, who also had the powers. Because she could withstand fire without harm, he built a massive fire and ordered Prince Prahalada to sit on his aunt's lap, expecting the boy to meet a fairy end. With no choice but to obey the king, Prince Prahalada went into the fire, but miraculously escaped unhurt. His aunt, however, disappeared and was never seen again. According to this legend, the colored paint represents Holika's ashes, and the word Holi is said to come from Holika. So that's the legend behind, one of the legends behind Holika Dahan, which is a fire that is lit before the day of celebration of Holi. So tomorrow, Holi is being celebrated. So today, in the evening or the night, the Holika Dahan happens. The festival was brought to Guyana in the 19th century by Indian settlers who came as indentured servants or laborers. Their descendants turned the celebration into a uniquely Guyanese one that merges with other local culture elements. Indian folk songs sound near temples of Indian places of worship, and sweetmeats, traditional Indian vegetarian sweets, are revelry are very common during Holi and the days leading up to it. Most Guyanese people find themselves celebrating by devouring sweetmeats, savoring Indian curry, or dressing in Indian attire. So the earliest mentions of Holi was in 4th century. Famous Indian poet Kalidasa writes about the Holi festival in a poem, Kumarasambhava, and a play, Malavikagnimitra. Indians migrated to Guyana. The mass migration of Indians spurred the political unrest, and various natural disasters in India begins in 1838. So Indians emigrate to Trinidad and Tobago, introducing their culture and festivals such as Holi on May 1st, 1845. And the Indian Holi Conference, the National Council of Indian Culture, NCIC, hosts the first international virtual Holi conference in Trinidad with researchers from Suriname, India, Trinidad and Tobago, South Africa, Fiji, and the United States, Mauritius, Jamaica, and Guyana, presenting their findings in various panels. So while Hindus were the ones to traditionally celebrate Holi, the sharing of cultures means no religion is restricted from this festival. Phagwah is celebrated in Guyana, Suriname, and any other country with an Indian population. It is also known as Holi in India. And we have Dulandi also, is a part of two-day holy festival in parts of India and is celebrated the day after the festival, and it marks the beginning of spring. So today is also known as Holika Dahan or Choti Holi, and tomorrow Holi, and day after day, tomorrow Dulandi. So it's a 3 days festival, but it is more popular as a single day festival. It starts with Holika Dahan a day earlier and the celebration of Holi on the consecutive day. And it is also being celebrated with different names, as we see, this slightly varies, the name varies across the nations. Holi is also known as Phagwa in certain parts of the world. So this is a day to prepare some authentic Indian sweets. Pick a wide variety of sweetmeats, typically made during Holi in Guyana, including a gulab jamun, mithai, prasad, vermicelli cake, fudge jalebi, sugar cake, and tamarind cake, and a lot more. And join Indo-Guyanese for their holy celebrations. There are bonfires, foods, drinks, dancing, singing, powder paint, and color water. It's sure to be fun time. Because Holi was said to be celebrated in the spring, specifically in the spring month of Phagun. According to Hindu calendar, Guyanese people commonly call Holi as Phagwa. There are pre-Phagwa celebrations. Holi celebrations actually begin almost 40 days before the festival in what the Indo-Guyanese call the pre-Phagwa days, when they sing folk songs, special folk songs called Chautals, put on public performance and plant symbolic trees. They traditionally plant the castor oil plant, which is then ceremoniously burnt on Holy Eve to celebrate the victory of good over evil. Making up around 40% of the nation's population, the Indo-Guyanese are the largest ethnic population in Guyana and have greatly influenced its cultures and festivals, leading to declaration of Holi as a national holiday. And Holi, Christmas, Diwali, Eid, Hosei, and Easters are all festivals commonly celebrated by the Indo-Guyanese, regardless of their religious beliefs. So Holi Guyana is especially favored as a traditional festival, is now more of cultural trademark that bonds every Guyanese in shared revel. To the Guyanese, Holi is more than a traditional Hindu festival. Most locals participate in this riot of colors, enjoying the festival without class, religions, or social barriers. And the festival is a favored childhood remembrance for many people who woke up to the sounds of laughter and splashing water. The celebrations invited every child to the fun, and tradition continued beyond childhood. And Holika Dahana is also called Festival of Colors. It's celebrated yearly in March, and this year it falls on 7th. So the same day, the day of festival varies each year because it is determined by the Indian lunar calendar. However, it is celebrated during the first full moon in March, which is usually between March 7th to March 20th. The Holi celebrates the triumph of good over evil and commemorates the story of Prahalad and Holika, two characters from the Indian folklore. With bonfires and dancing, holiday is celebrated on an auspicious day in the evening. The celebration continues to the next day with splash play, which involves throwing color powder on each other. This is called Holi. On this day, relationships are mended and created as the start of the spring season commences. Holika Dahan marks the first day of Holi celebration. On this day, fires are set up around India to prepare for a ritual that involves a large group of people who sing and dance harmoniously around a burning effigy. The fire symbolizes the eradication of an evil spirit and begins in the evening as soon as the full moon is out. The procession is a reenactment of the story of Holika and her nephew Prahalad. Prahalad's father, Hiranyakashipu, was a great king who received powers from a deity. He could not be hurt or killed by anyone, anything. Thus, he assumed the position of God and demanded everyone to worship him. Although the townspeople followed suit, the king's very own son did not worship his father because he was staunch devotee of the supreme being, Lord Vishnu, from whom his father has got the boon. His blatant disregard caused Hiranyakashipu great anger, and so he sought to kill his own son. After many failed attempts, the king decided to ask his sister Holika, who was immune to fire, for help. Holika was given the task to lure Prahlad into a burning pyre, leading to Prahlad's death. To their dismay, the plan didn't go as anticipated because Lord Vishnu intercepted and Vishnu rescued Prahlad, and Holika burned in the fire despite her immunity to fire. This earned Vishnu the title protector of good, as he protected his devotee from his evil aunt. Holika Dahan is also followed by film festivities the next day, the water splashing, painting with color powder and snacks. During this holiday, devotees find solace in Lord Vishnu, while other participants pay tribute to Prahlad's bravery and trust. The day is used to reconcile and reflect on life and relationships. The holiday symbolism has traveled across borders, as now is celebrated by Hindus in India, by everyone worldwide. Countries like South Africa, Europe, Australia, and the United States participate in the festival. So the first Holi celebration took place as in 4th century and earlier. And in 1665, Emperor Aurangzeb bans Holi celebrations, as we have seen lot of invaders who were against Hinduism, who invaded countries. And, that's why even today we hardly find no religion is secular. In fact, they call themselves as secular, but, they do not reflect in practice. And in thus, we can see many historical instances where even now also today, we can see many religions only promoting their own religion and do not even respect other religions. So we have similar instance even with the Holi also, where Emperor Aurangzeb bans Holi celebrations in 1665. And Ranjit Singh uses 300 mounts of colors to celebrate Holi, and the 6 sets records in 1837. Holi Mela is celebrated in Uttar Pradesh since 1857. And as we have learnt about Holika Dahan, the holiday teaches us good will always conquer evil, though not immediately, but over long run. It's always the good that wins over bad. The color and water play come from the playful ways of Krishna. Krishna was afraid that Radha would not like him because of his color. So his mother advised him to paint Radha's face with the color of his choice. And it turns out Radha liked him blue or green. And Diwali is also festival of lights, where Holi is the festival of color. So similarly, every festival is associated with an element of nature and environment. So join the fun, get splashed with colors and water on Holi while enjoying the beautiful sights around the blessed land. Try eating popular Holi snacks like gujia, fried dumplings, and malpua, pancakes, kachori, barfi. And if these sound strange to you, try them They are tasty. Don't forget to share with friends and family. Holi is not only about color, but it also about sharing and caring. Holi is a playful holiday, so celebrate by splashing color or water on loved ones, hold dancing conquest, and try Indian dance moves. You can also reenact the story of Holika and Prahlad. And it also marks the arrival of spring, the love of Radha and Krishna, and the death of Holika are all celebrated on Holi. Krishna, who is blue in complexion, is often assumed to be god of Holi due to his color. In actually, his color comes from a poison he ingested. And the Prague region in India, Holi is celebrated for 16 days, the 16-day festival. And water is essential for Holi celebrations. So no water, no Holi. The local Indian drink popularly served during Holi contains cannabis and may have after effects if consumed too much. It is also known as bhang. Of course, there is a practice, but not widely used, but not everyone consumes it. So you can even celebrate without consuming bhang. And Holika Dahana celebrates the victory of good over evil. And you can feel the excitement whenever you watch Holi celebrations. And it's a great time to let loose and have fun when the color splash begins. It's exciting to see different colors all over the place and all over everyone. The dance celebrates with outfits stained with colors are a sight for the eyes. Dol Yatra is also being commemorated today, and it is also varies each year as it is dependent on the position of the moon, and this year it falls on March 7th. The whole day is also similar to Holi and commemorates the last festival of the Bengali calendar. The holiday was created to observe the eternal bond and love between Lord Krishna and Radha. It immortalizes the day Lord Krishna expressed his love for his beloved Radha. The colorful powder called Pag is applied in the following order. First, in respect to the pictures of the deceased family members, then it is put on the feet of elders as a mark of respect. Thereafter, the significant smearing first of the powder on faces is begun. Dol Yatra, also known as Dol Jatra, is a religious celebration celebrated when the last full moon in the Hindu calendar is present. Although the holiday is similar to Holi, it's slightly different in procession and purpose. Holi is celebrated to welcome spring and also mark the death of Holika, the evil sister of Hiranyakashipu, who attempted to kill his own son, Prahlada. Dol Yatra, on the other hand, celebrates the love of Krishna and Radha. Although Dol Yatra also uses colored powder in the celebratory processions, the powder is used in a certain order in different ways to signify the purpose of the holiday. In addition to colored powder splashes, the idols of Lord Krishna and Radha are decorated and adorned. These statues are gracefully placed on decorated chariots and swung from one end to other. Men are tasked with spraying colored powder at the idols, with women are encouraged to sing songs and bhajans. The first day of Dol Yatra is known as Bon. This is the day people believe Lord Krishna visited Gunucha. To note that this bonfire is lit in front of the prayer house and Lord Krishna's idol is paraded as a custom. The idols of Krishna and Radha are taken around West Bengal with shouts of Haribol resounding in the air. The second day of procession is called Bodiyol or Dol. On this day, the colored powder is applied to the photos of deceased family members. The colored powder is also put on the feet of elders to seek their blessings. When the blessings of elders are satisfactorily received, the tradition of smearing other people with powdered color begins. People also visit houses of their near and dear ones with delicious rasgullas, and the third day is equally significant as people celebrate with more color. The parade continues on the fourth day, Suiri, with hundreds of people participating in prayer, worship, and many more. So it is this festival has started long back, even before 3000 BC and earlier, as per the Western calculations, but it is still much more older. And Dola Yatra or Dol Yatra is commemorated on the same day as Holi, the last moon, full moon in Hindu calendar, and also has the title Festival of Colors, which is similar to Dol Yatra celebration. As already mentioned, Dol Yatra differs from Holi as it is the last festival of the Bengali year and is based on a different religion. It is also called Suiri when Lord Krishna came back from Gunucha's home. A large mass of people, including devotees and non-devotees, celebrate the end of the festival. People continue to throw colors on the idol as well as on each other. So simply take bath soon after playing with bath and soak or scrub to remove colors properly to avoid any kind of itchiness and skin problems. That too, when you are using synthetic colors or chemical colors, it's always good to avoid synthetic and color, these chemical colors, as even traditionally also all the celebrations which were taken up as part of festivities were all natural, eco-friendly, environment-friendly, and natural and organic substances. But now, because the production is more and production is less comparatively, and demand is more and more, people are celebrating. So a lot of chemical due to demand, there are a lot of chemical and synthetic colors due to which skin problems can occur. So it's always better to use organic colors, especially, we use daily different kinds of flowers, mostly, and vegetables, even with beetroot and even with various flowers, we can produce organic flowers, and that too just dried flowers. You powder it and mix with water and use, and they're very safe. And it's also good for health. So you could also encourage use of organic colors to avoid chemical-based colors that might cause a problem, as it was being, followed since ages. And on Dol Yatra, dairy products such as homemade butter, yogurt, and cream and prasad like Panchamrit are prepared and distributed to everyone. Make your own dairy treat and share it with all that is near and dear to you. And the first day of Dol Yatra is known as Gaun. Centuries ago, on this day, Lord Krishna visited Gunucha, one of his wives, in the honor of a bonfire is lit in front of the prayer house, and Lord Krishna's idol is taken around it as a tradition. We see a lot of legends which, or stories having different contexts. So we need to understand in a very contextual manner. So make fag color powder, known as fag, which is key part of festivities. Using the fag, start with paying respects for the dead loved ones, as the powder is sprinkled on the pictures of deceased family members, then on the idols and the feet of elders as a sign of respect. Finally, everyone gets to be covered in colored powder. So it is the last festival of the Bengali year, And the bonfire represents the burning of Agira, who is responsible for various diseases. The custom of throwing colored powder is believed to emerge from mythological love story of Radha and Krishna. Lord Krishna was never married to Radha, but had a romantic attachment with her. And Radha was Lord Krishna's wife in his previous birth. So it's a great festival occasion and is full of color, shades to the beautiful makeup and clothes on the day is simply colorful. So have some multicolored fun and feel the happiness that comes from each. So today is also National Library Workers' Day in US. And it is a day that recognizes the importance and contributions of the library staff who keep our libraries running. While we get lost in the wonderful books, libraries are more than a place for borrowing books. They reflect the need and expectations of our community. The library workers are ones fulfilling those needs and expectations by making information, books, and resources more accessible. Libraries work because they work. The American Library Association initiated the idea of National Library Workers' Day, and it was first observed in 2004. The purpose of the day was to raise for better benefits and salaries for library workers when they had been stagnant for years. Libraries have existed dating back as early as 2000 BC. The first libraries consisted of archives of earliest forms of writing on clay tablets that were discovered in the temple rooms of Sumer and various other places. Since then, libraries have evolved from the classic period to late antiquity and have shaped societies from the classical Greek and the Roman empires all the way up to the modern age. Although libraries have been around for centuries, access to books has not always been that easy. The first library or the public library was opened in the United States in 1883. Before that, libraries were owned privately and were only restricted to the royal people. Today, public libraries are the most important part of the community. They provide books from all over the world on basically every topic imaginable. Libraries are once responsible for maintaining this catalog of history. They are also masters of research who foster creativity and knowledge. But owing to the global economic fluctuations, their salaries have shrunk to such a low level that it has now become difficult for these careers to remain feasible. But still now, even today, librarians are now designated as information scientists and various other roles. So even it is a very good profession if you like to, do a lot of research and you are well equipped and with the computers and internet. The British invaded Washington, D.C. and destroyed its collection of 5,000 books in the Library of Congress in 1814. Similarly, many invaders, even in India also, these Mughals and these Muslim invaders and a lot of Christian invaders who invaded our country also destroyed many libraries, many universities in India, so that, people are deprived of knowledge and education, and they always remain the slaves of them, intellectually, as well as physically, economically, socially. This act Morally Land Grant Act. This act provides each state with 30,000 acres of public land per senator for educational use, spurring the growth of libraries in 1862. And Melvin Davey starts the first training school for librarians in 1887. So the creation of MARC, machine readable cataloging, allows for electronic management of library catalogs. So thus technology in libraries started since 1960. So National Library Week is a time to celebrate the existence of libraries and to recognize the important impact of libraries and libraries on the community. It is part of the National Library Week celebration, a day to celebrate library outreach programs and dedicated library professionals. The American Library Association started the idea of Library Week, hoping that it would motivate people to read and support libraries. So acknowledge, appreciate library workers for their expertise, hard work, and dedication. Make a positive impact by really doing something beneficially for library workers on this day. Sign a petition for them in your local government offices and advocate for better payments and benefits for them by spreading awareness in your community. And volunteer at your local library. This will give actual insight into a day in the life of a library worker. You will also get a chance to interact with different people. There are 3 libraries on the beach in Albania, Bulgaria. A library building in a small Chinese village is covered in 40,000 twigs, known as twig library. A library constructed in 5 trees can be found along the sidewalk in Berlin, known as Tree Library. There are library vending machines full of books in cities across Canada, the US, Europe, and Asia. Kansas City Library outside walls are designed to be a huge bookshelf, known as book walls. The day acknowledges the efforts of library workers and highlights the critical role they play in keeping our libraries running. This day advocates and raises support for the improvement of benefits of library workers, and it reframes the importance of libraries in our communities and motivates people to read and support libraries. A National Sportsmanship Day is also a day to celebrate sports in US, to promote good sportsmanship around the country, and to set high standards for future generation of athletes. The objective of this day is to tell people about the importance of sportsmanship. It encourages fair play, good etiquette, and a good character. This day is to remind athletes and sportsmen alike that being good at sport isn't the only important quality of an athlete. Showing good sportsmanship is equally important. According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, the word sportsmanship has its origins in 1700s, where it was used in England among upperclassmen who participated in country sports such as hunting and fishing. The word is one of the most popular words still in use today. In 1936 Summer Olympic Games in Berlin, the racist sentiment of Nazi Party was at all-time high. Despite this, German competitor Louis Long, who was participating in the long jump event, helped an African-American opponent named Jesse Owens to improve his form. Owens was representing the United States and had African roots. Long saw Owens struggling because of his form and gave him some great advice. Despite the negative sentiment in Germany at the time towards people of color, this act of sportsmanship helped Owens secure the gold medal in the event. In 1956, the Australian National Championships Australian runner John Landy showed a great example of sportsmanship when he helped his 19-year-old opponent, Ron Clarke, who had tripped and fallen. Landy, who was behind Clarke, stopped running and helped his opponent get back on his feet. After this, Landy resumed running and was somehow able to win the race. The statue was built to commemorate this display of sportsmanship. During the 2005 Rome Masters, Andy Roddick showed remarkable sportsmanship in his tennis match against Fernando Verdasco. Roddick was announced as the winner of the match by mistake, when in reality, both Roddick and Verdasco were still at match point. Roddick called out this mistake and pointed out that the shot didn't count, and Verdasco went on to win that match. The word is first used in England among upperclassmen who participate in country sports such as hunting and fishing in 1700s. So good sportsmanship is treating other players, coaches, officials, and parents with respect. Good sportsmanship is an important character trait that will benefit players throughout their lives, both on and off the field or pitch. Cheating or rule breaking to gain an unfair advantage is viewed as unsportsmanlike conduct. So practice good sportsmanship. Even if you are not an athlete, in your daily life, try showing proper etiquette and manners while dealing with other people. And it is an opportunity to spread awareness about how important sportsmanship is. And you can find such examples showing remarkable sportsmanship in matches and competitions. And sportsmanship involves playing fair without any cheating. Talking behind your opponent's back only reveals your own lack of self-confidence and is a mark of bad sportsmanship. So it means no trash talking opponents. It is important to play in a way that fully uses the strengths of your whole team. Being a team player is non-negotiable. Showing good sportsmanship also includes being a good friend to your teammates and listening to their concerns. The mark of a good sportsman is that he or she takes responsibility for their own mistakes instead of trying to blame other players. So it demonstrates good behavior and etiquette, and they are very important character traits for anyone to possess. It also reminds coaches of the need for athletes to be trained in ethics pertaining to their sport. Today is also Plant Power Day in in US, which is commemorated today, March 7th. Today is awareness about the benefits of sustainable eating and encourage everyone to embrace plant-based diets. So it was launched by Alpro and Bosch. Plant-based diets have different meanings depending on the individual. A plant-based diet may be entirely vegan, no animal-derived products consisting mainly of plant foods, or is made up of whole plant foods that are minimally processed. While a plant-based diet has been an option for many people for ages, it's not until recently that it gained mainstream attention with the people embracing it as a lifestyle. The history of plant-based diets is interwoven with veganism, which is itself derived from vegetarianism. The earliest evidence of vegetarianism appeared in 3300 to 1300 BC in the northern and western ancient Indus Valley civilizations. It was a lifestyle mainly practiced by Indian emperors and philosophers and Indian population, including Chandragupta Maurya, Ashoka, Mahavira, and Acharya Kunda, and many more. Vegetarianism was also practiced in ancient Greece and Rome by prominent individuals such as Seneca the Younger, Ovid, Plutarch, and Empedocles. They argued that this choice of lifestyle was due to health, the transmigration of souls, and animal welfare and justice. The Arab poet Al-Murri was one of the earliest known vegans in the 19th century. Vegetarianism became a widely accepted movement in Britain and the United States. Professionals that were self-identified vegetarians raised awareness of the benefits of the vegetarian lifestyle through their works. That includes the poet Percy Bysshe Shelley in his 1813 book, A Vindication of Natural Diet, the physician William Lambe and Sylvester Graham. He developed the meatless Graham diet that was hugely popular in the 1830s in the United States. Several vegetarian communities and societies were established around this time. The United Kingdom Vegetarian Society, established in 1840s, was one of those societies. Several members requested for a section of the Vegetarian Society's newsletter to be dedicated to non-dairy vegetarianism in 1994. When the Vegetarian Society refused the request, the secretary of Leicester Branch, Donald Watson, started a newsletter called the Vegan News in November of that year. That led to the establishment of the Vegan Society and the vegan movement, veganism. The movement received a large following from individuals who eat mainly plant produce and desist animal exploitations. In 1918, T. Colin Campbell coined the term plant-based diet. The term refers to a diet that is low-fat, high-fiber, and consists primarily of vegetables, focusing on health and not ethics. The term since been used in various works to mean veganism or vegetarianism and semi-vegetarianism. In 2018, the European company Alpro and vegan recipe website WASH established Plant Power Day to encourage people to eat more a vegetable-based diet and plant-based foods. The main foods included in a plant-based diet are fruits, vegetables, tubers, whole grains, legumes, tofu, seeds, bread, and plant-based milk. You may choose to eat animal products, but it has to be in small quantities unless if you are a semi-vegetarian. The main negative of a plant-based diet is the absence of some nutrients in plant products, including calcium, iron, and vitamin B12. Also, a plant-based diet requires meal planning and preparation, but this can be overcome easily with the present-day diet planning. And you can get all the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients from the plant-based food. And you can also get great plant-based meals at the best vegan or vegetarian restaurants in the country. In the US, that includes Elizabeth's Gone Raw, Crossroads Kitchen, and Gracia's Mat. Cooking is definitely the best way to celebrate Plant Power Day. There are numerous cookbooks and recipes you can try your hand at if you are new to plant-based diet. If you want the familiar, you can try swapping some of your regular meals with plant-based substitutes. Watch cooking channels to get inspired. Having everyone embracing sustainable living is essential, not only to general well-being, but also to the survival of plants, animals, and the planet. You can advocate by using your social media platforms, handles if you have a good following, writing articles, posts on sustainable living, encouraging your friends and family to take up lifestyle, or volunteering for relevant organizations. So you can put together a tasty plant-based dish. Vegan and vegetarian restaurants pop up every year, which means there may be one in your area. Search the internet or look up vegan or vegetarian restaurants. For the best experience, go with a friend or a family member that enjoys plant-based meals. So there is an interesting study in US. A US Human Research Council study revealed that about 84% of vegetarians go back to eating meat less than a year after taking up vegetarian lifestyle in US. That's why, more and more they are contributing to the climate change, and more diseases and disorders and obesity and various problems are quite common in US. And we have seen also that even that 4 in 5 are obese. Vegans believe vegetarians are ruining their anti-meat campaign, which makes them less tolerant of vegetarians than non-vegetarians. So that's why, you know, vegans hate vegetarians more than non-vegetarians, and non-vegetarians hate more vegans or vegetarians. But in fact, they are the best practices, to save our planet and ourselves. Otherwise, what will happen? We'll continue to use more and more, and finally we will end up with climate change and the effects of them. And finally, we'll have nothing to eat. Because without meat we can live, but without plants, without cereals, without rice, without wheat, can you live? And fruitarians are vegetarians who eat only nuts, seeds, and fruits, which can be dangerous to their health, unless you are a radical vegetarian or fruitarians. A plant-based diet is generally viewed as a healthy and sustainable way of eating. Research has shown that eating a diet rich in fruits, whole grains, and vegetables helps improve heart health, reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes and obesity, and eliminate need for medications. Aside from being the second highest contributor to greenhouse gas emissions, livestock rearing is the primary cause of deforestation, biodiversity loss, and water pollution. So consuming a plant-based plant-based diet instead of meat and meat products, you can help reduce the negative impacts of livestock rearing, animal farming, combat climate change, and create a more sustainable world. Embracing a plant-based diet reduces the demand for animal products, consequently decreasing animal suffering and cruelty on factory farms and helping to save endangered species. Today is also National Bee Herd Day in US. Is an occasion for small business owners and aspiring owners to make their voices heard, and encourages them to stand up for themselves and their ideas that lay claim to their share of the market. Your success as an entrepreneur and business owner starts with your own personal growth. So do one thing today that will help you in your own personal development. Some suggestions: write a list of goals, read a book about self-improvement, or schedule a meeting with a mentor or a person in your field that you could admire. Small steps today can set you on the path for success together. And we love talking about ourselves, and it's biological. Ever notice how good you feel after talking about yourself, with yourself or with your friend or with anyone for that matter? There are certain parts of the brain, human brain, are more active when we talk about ourselves. The number one fear in America isn't death, and it isn't spiders as well. It's public speaking. Not only there, we see, in many places, even here also, how ironic that we love talking about ourselves, but hate doing it in front of crowds. A big part of embracing being heard is finding the solution to that disconnect. And practice speaking in front of mirror or join a speaking club and challenge yourself to make an announcement during the next big meeting. Everyone is a storyteller and everyone has a story worth sharing. Humans have been telling stories since the beginning of recorded history. And even before, is one of the things that make us distinctly humans. It's only natural that we should not or we should want to add our own stories to the great tapestry of stories, and that we should want as many people to know our stories as possible. It's the human way. Finally, today is National Cereal Day, and there isn't a person alive who doesn't know a bowl of cereal, a spoon, some milk of lactate, almond, or soy milk, all counts, equals part in your mouth. No fibers, sugars, raisins, or even Lucky Charms, the flavors and prices each box holds are limitless and can't add to any humdrum morning. So let's snap, crackle, and pop through all the reasons. And that's how cereals have to be part in your daily planner and on the menu on National Cereal Day. John Harvey Kellogg and Bill Keith Kellogg were experimenting with boiled wheat. As brothers do, they left a batch out overnight and returned to find it stale. They tried the same process with corn and created what we know today as Kellogg's Corn Flakes. That's how cereal was invented by accident. And that's how our Kellogg's Corn Flakes was invented by accident in 1877. Ranger Joe popped wheat money showed up in grocery stores, on radio and TV ads to show how kids liked sugar and cereal didn't have to be healthy. So sweetened cereal was born in 1939. Fancier cereal mixes like Lucky Charms hit the market with fruit, marshmallows, and other sweet bits mixed in it. In 1960, Mr. T Cereals was the first licensed ready-to-eat cereal manufactured and marketed by the Quaker Oats Company. And I pity the fool who never had it. It's a debut in 1984. In US, here it is not so common. But yeah, be sensible and start with some fiber one. For lunch, leave a little and have a more robust Lucky Charms. They are magically delicious. Or you can make it many homemade. And when dinner rolls around, go a little crazy and mix regular, cornflakes with some frosted ones and follow up with a Rice Krispie treat for dessert. There are quite possibly over 100 cereals to choose from. And if you want to expand your breakfast horizons, why not pick one you never had before, like Cranberry Almond Crunch or Grape Nuts or even Kellogg's Honey Smacks, which is nearly 56% sugar by weight. Of course, this is just for one day. Don't eat it daily. Again, you will end up spoiling your health. Because it's all, though a bit healthy, but still constitutes a lot of junk food with lots of calories. But you can have wholesome cells. They are very good, but don't consume these processed ones. Whether it is co-workers, friends, or any mailman, or hand them a small box of cereal to commemorate the occasion. Or if you are more of a do-it-yourself type of person, get some Ziploc bags and fill them with a potpourri of your favorite cereal. Cereal is a staple crop and grains are grown in greater quantities and provide more food energy worldwide than any other type of crop. So cereal is for everyone and everywhere. In 1909, the funny Jungleland moving pictures book came with the purchase of 2 packages of cornflakes. The first prize was a book. The word cereal is derived from the Ceres, the Roman goddesses of harvest and agriculture. Astronauts ate Kellogg's cornflakes aboard Apollo 11, which was the first moon landing. Shuttle has to be to the moon. And using an army cannon converted into a pressure cooker, Quaker Oats developed a method called gun puffing in order to create a puff cereals. It's explosively delicious. And it's not just for breakfast, it's also for lunch or dinner, an afternoon snack, dinner, a middle of the night treat, or if you all get fancy with it, delicious dessert. It's one of the few foods where there's no judgment on when to eat. And with such a wide range of varieties of flavors and creative recipes, it's like the Mad Libs ingredients that you can fill in to create any time of the day meal. You can also get to work out just the right cereal to milk ratio and add fruits or nuts, feeling like the Julia Child of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, all without risking burning down your kitchen. So try new recipes and have cereals. So finally, today is also Sock Monkey Day. Give your old socks a new lease on life as we mark Sock Monkey Day, and prepare monkey toy or doll with your old socks. So with this, we shall conclude today's commemoration, and thank you everyone for joining us, and happy Holika Dahan, and happy Holi to you all, and kindly use organic, natural, safe colors so that we have an environment friendly and healthy Holi festival. So kindly fill up the feedback form, which is being raised in the form of polls. And tomorrow we have an international seminar on Women's Day, commemorating Women's Day on women, health, well-being, and sustainable development. Whoever is interested can register. The links has been shared already in WhatsApp groups and Telegram channel. So feel free to register, and those who are interested to present, also feel free to share your topics. So feel free to come and utilize this opportunity. And also there is an important announcement that this month we also have an international conference. So we also have listed the topics based on the registrations on the website, and those who have registered and applied, so quickly complete your formalities and share your PPTs and complete all the formalities so that time can be allotted. Those who have applied and registered, I have mentioned your topics. We have approved those topics and kept on the website. You can check it. And once you complete all the formalities, you will be allotted a time in the time schedule. So quickly, those who have not registered and willing to present, quickly register and share your details. And those who have already registered but not have completed formalities, quickly complete the formalities. 15th March is the last date for both participation registration and presentation registration, and as well as collaboration registration, and also the nomination for awards. So on 15th, we will be closing the registrations, And on 16th, we will start processing, and before 18th, we start conference. We'll check all the registrations forms, and after any rejections or any correction suggestions, we'll be putting out the final list of sessions and presentation. So before that, do not wait till last hour. So quickly register yourself and circulate among your friends and family. Students, researchers, colleagues. So once again, wish you all happy Holi. So see you all tomorrow at 6 o'clock at the same time with the same link for Women's Day celebrations.